A lot of incredible news just keeps hitting the Nintendo Switch 2. We've got brand new updates for highly anticipated games. I know we just got to overload when it comes to Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, but a big scenario on how this game plays out has been cleared up, and I think that it works really well for what they've shown off with the 4 different paths and how you play this game, because it is significantly different from how Fire Emblem Three Houses works, and I think that it's actually going to work out pretty well how they describe this. We're going to go over that in addition to a tease for one of the biggest RPGs that helped the Switch 1 become what it is, Octopath Traveler. We've got a new tease with a brand new game, third entry in the series. We've got triple A updates, major stuff that's coming to the Switch 2 announced from companies, so we got a lot to get into. But before we continue, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 at 140,000 subscribers or on September 1st, whichever comes first. Subscribe, like, comment. The winner will be chosen at random, and it's a worldwide giveaway. Thanks, peeps. Let's start off with Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. Nintendo put out a brand new trailer for the game, kind of setting the stage for what's going to be happening. You guys are going to see that, but we're also going to talk about exactly how this game is played out, because Nintendo kind of flipped it on us when it comes to what they showed first, but exactly how this game is being played and the setup for the time skip and what happens. So over on Twitter, Stealth had this to say: at the beginning of Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, you are already 5 years in the future playing as Eshmel. Then you go back in time to fix the catastrophes that befell the other 4 protagonists playing as them. Now, this is the Japanese footage you guys are seeing, and you will see the setting the stage trailer that was released in English, and it essentially says the same thing. What you've got to do is that you play as Eshmel, you are in the future, it is not great, and then you have to go through in this chamber and go through and play each one of these different scenarios and changing the fortune of each of the characters, and that's how you get the name Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. Right there, you are changing those fortunes, and you play as that bird. That bird is going through and seeing and essentially affecting the fortune of each of the characters. So I cannot wait to see how each of the campaigns work, because one concern that people had was like, wait a minute, we got to play through the game 4 times. Is it going to be like Three Houses, to where there's a lot of repeat content? That's the problem with Fire Emblem Three Houses. It's cool to have different campaigns, but playing through each one of those is tedious. There is different things that happen, especially once you get to like time skip and stuff like that, but the problem is that there's a lot of repeat content outside of just like being able to start out with different characters. So this one, I do feel it's going to be pretty unique for each one. There's going to be a variation in the missions and the structure and what happens. Otherwise, it's just going to be super boring playing through all 4 campaigns. This one, it's kind of set up to where they say, hey, here you go. This is what you want to do. You want to play through each one of them, instead of where the setup for Fire Emblem Three Houses was pick who you really want from the beginning, and that's going to be your playthrough. That's going to be your canon for Fire Emblem Three Houses. Like, I don't think Nintendo expected or was even promoting people to play the game multiple times. Now, obviously you could if you wanted to see something different, but they really said, hey, pick one. Pick somebody that you really like and go with it. Like, go with your conviction on that one. Whereas this time they're saying, no, you got to play all of them to truly experience. So I'm pretty sure each campaign is going to be unique, and there's going to be a lot of great things that are changing or that changed from the very beginning. And I'm guessing it's also not going to be as long when it comes to the campaign, because with Three Houses, each campaign is long. Now, you can take shorter times to beat them because New Game Plus and all of that, but it's still a long game. So I'm guessing each one is going to be significantly shorter to get to the climax of each character's chapter and everything. So very good. It all makes sense now. Very much looking forward to it quite a bit, but I'm also very much looking forward to the new game in the Octopath Traveler series, the next major one with Octopath Traveler 3. So Square Enix producer Tomoya Asano says he knows anticipation for Octopath Traveler 3 is incredibly high. Quote, "We generally feel fans' expectations. I just wanted to convey that. They won't release something half-baked. If we're going to do it, we're going to push the limits. Keep looking forward to what comes next. So this is super exciting. There's a lot of different ways they can go with a sequel when it comes to Octopath Traveler 3, upgraded job system, mechanics, different things. But what I would love to see, which might be a little bit controversial, is being able to actually see enemies on the map. I think that's one thing that the Octopath Traveler series can do, in my opinion, that would make the flow a little bit better. There's been some obtuse things that they've tried to fix with Octopath Traveler when it comes to the connecting stories and everything, so just more symmetry between the different stories and how they connect and each story and how it plays out. I think that would be great, but being able to see the enemies on the map and then engage in battle and having better connection between the different stories that happen pretty seamlessly would be the things that would be at the top when it comes to Octopath Traveler. I feel the Octopath Traveler is really good. It's got great vibes, it's got great music, it's got great old school action mixed in with new elements. There's a lot of great stuff, but just having a few more different things added into the mix of the structure for the game would do wonders in my opinion. Now obviously you've got that great HD 2D, the engine has been perfected over the years. You look at Octopath Traveler 1, then you compare that to like Octopath Traveler 3 or Octopath Traveler 0, like it's been significantly better, or just the HD 2D games in general. It's so much better now at this point, so I do think that they're going to continue to enhance that and everything, and now you have the base of the Nintendo Switch 2 to work with. I think that we're going to get a better, higher quality Octopath Traveler game to start with, considering the Octopath Traveler games really started out on the Switch 1, then were expanded out. I think they're going to start with the Switch 2 as a base and then expand out, so that's great. I think that all the versions are going to run and look good. From what we're seeing so far with the Octopath Traveler games on the Nintendo Switch 2 and what we've seen with Octopath Traveler 0 and some of the other games, still some little things here and there, but overall still great when it comes down to it. It's Unreal Engine 4, so we'll see if they move over to Unreal Engine 5 for this one, but I'm excited just to see how Octopath Traveler is going to handle on the Switch 2 when they make a game wholly built right from that system from the beginning, not going from the base of the Switch 1. So we'll see how it works, although they might still make a Switch 1 version of that game. That's the funny thing, because we're seeing that with Final Fantasy Resonance and everything. I don't think Japanese developers are going to drop the Switch 1 anytime soon, at least a lot of Japanese developers probably won't. So I think that Octopath Traveler 3 has a chance to be fantastic with everything that it does and just make it really one of the best, if not the best, in the series. But what else is fantastic is the Nintendo Switch 2 getting more games, and now we have a big AAA announcement coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 this fall: Aliens Fireteam Elite. So this game looks crazy. I thought I saw this game just a bit before, but I didn't really cover it too much. But now we have more information about it here coming to Switch 2 this fall. So publisher Daybreak Game Company and developer Cold Iron Studios will release a Switch 2 version of cooperative third-person shooter sequel Aliens Fireteam Elite 2 this fall, the companies announced. As previously announced, Aliens Fireteam Elite 2 will launch first for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC via Steam and Epic Game Store on August 25th. So it's coming up here as of the time that I'm recording this video. And this is something that I've said in my previous videos about Nintendo Switch 2 strategy, about the Switch 2 sales. If you want to know stuff that is a direct result of the Switch 2 being a crazy sales hit and why sales matter, look no further than Aliens Fireteam Elite 2 for the Nintendo Switch 2. The last time I remember when it comes to Aliens and a big shooter on a Nintendo platform, it was Alien Colonial Marines for the Wii U. And we all know how that worked out when it comes to the Wii U version of the game. So think about that. Now they're looking at the Switch 2, they're looking at Nintendo fans in a way to like, okay, hold up, we need to actually make a version of it, and we need to double time it to get it out when it comes to in the same year. They had no plans for Switch 2 at all, and then saw the massive sales, and then was like, okay, hold up here, let's actually put it on the system. So I think that's why you want the system to sell well, because I guarantee you if Switch 2 was not doing well, there would be no Aliens Fireteam Elite 2 coming to the Switch 2 this fall in 2026. They would just say, oh, well, we're thinking about it, or maybe we'll see how the fans, if they want it. We don't have to ask for anything. They just do it because the Switch 2 is over 24 million units plus, and by the end of the year should be at 30 plus million units, passing up the Xbox Series at this point. So that's the reason why sales are important. That's the reason why you want the system to do well, because you're going to get far more games. You're going to get more AAA games. You're going to get more developers prioritizing what you have. So That's just it right there. That's the whole situation that's going on. And going from that, it's not just the big AAA games, it's also the AA games and the indie developers. You can look at another brand new game that was just announced alongside the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series versions, and that's Fading Echo. So fast-paced desert punk action adventure game. Fading Echo will launch for the Nintendo Switch 2 alongside its PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series versions in 2026. Publisher New Tales and developer subsidiary Emateria announced. Fading Echo first launched for PC via Steam and Epic Games Store back on July 21st. Now here's a little bit more information about this game. I don't know too much about it, but I wanted to go over it with you guys. So explore the surreal landscapes of the floating island of Corel as a young legend on a quest to discover her past and secure her future. Unleash chain reactions as you lean to control the elements in a fast-paced desert punk action adventure. Here are the key features. Be one with water. Use water as a weapon in all its forms. Seamlessly transition between liquid and human form to navigate Corel's surreal landscapes and battle its dangers. Dissolve into a droplet to slip through cracks and spread water across your surroundings. Surge through tubes, crash down as a water bomb, or ascend in a vapor burst. Exploit the elements: water, lava, toxic waste, corruption. Each substance has its own properties, reacting dynamically with the world, its fauna, and with you. Combine and unleash chain reactions to drench, conduct, petrify, explode, and more. Every interaction brings new ways to fight and to explore, adapt, experiment, and carve your own path. Shape water, shape fate. Wield the raw power of ether, casting crushing waves, weave devastating close combat attacks, and evolve your abilities to fit your playstyle. Master the shift between offense, tactics, and exploration as you unlock new powers. Step into the Echoverse. Traverse Corel and its shadows, distorted realities of the same world, each with its own laws, dangers, and possibilities. Explore landscapes both familiar and alien to unlock precious ether sources. Discover new ways to interact with the world and adapt your approach to each dimension. So this looks like it plays incredible. And once again, you have to look at the Switch 2 and the sales of the system, and they say, okay, we're gonna get a Switch 2 version to go alongside the Xbox and PlayStation versions, because it was already announced for those systems, but not Switch 2. But now they have a Switch 2 announcement. Once again, it's of the highest priority. They see the sales, they see people buying games on the system, they see all the third-party support coming. They know that having a dynamic hybrid when it comes to portable and home console is a good thing for your game. So they made sure to prioritize getting Fading Echo out alongside Xbox and PlayStation. So that is awesome, and this game looks really cool. I like the whole water transformation type of thing. I'm not in love with the character design, I'll be honest with that, but at the same time, I do think that the gameplay is the most important here, and the gameplay looks really, really cool. So I like what I'm seeing here from this, and I'm also liking what I'm seeing from Trails in the Sky second chapter. We've got a brand new promotional trailer, and we're going to talk about the game. It's due out this September 17th, the same day as Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. So let's talk about some of the key features in this. So you can continue your first chapter journey by carrying over your clear data from first chapter. You can obtain exciting bonus items that will let you progress through the story mode more smoothly. So I'm guessing they're not going to make you do the tutorial or something like that. You can kind of just go through. We'll see what happens there, and maybe even just items or different stuff that you get from the first game. More combat options than ever before. Overpower your enemies with new crafts and S-crafts. Link your character's attacks during quick battles and the new Brave Rush, and make full use of the orbit system for access to arts. Dive into an intricately woven narrative to uncover the conspiracies threatening the Kingdom of Liberal. Expansive side content. Enjoy a variety of new content in the sequel, including minigames like fishing and poker, cooking with your companions, and fan favorite characters joining as playable party members. Experience the expansive combat system, richly realized world, and stirring story of the second chapter of the Trails series. So the interesting thing about Trails in the Sky, the first chapter, I'm still kind of going through. I need to get through all of this, but the game is really, really good. And the best thing about all of this, guys, is that we have a confirmed Nintendo Switch 2 physical on-cart game day and date, but we have a full on-cart physical for the Nintendo Switch 2 version of the game. The developers are familiar with the hardware. There was a little bit of growing pains with the Switch 2. At first, they had to push out a patch after the launch just because it was a little sketchy, but I think now they know what's going on with the Switch 2. They have more experience developing it. It's going to be far more optimized this time around, so I'm very much looking forward to checking out Trails in the Sky second chapter after I beat Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, because Fortune's Weave is going to be the game that I'm going to play on September 17th. I wish they picked a different day for these two games. I don't know what's going on here, but hey, more games is better than less games, especially incredible RPGs like the Trails in the Sky series. So I'm very much looking forward to this, and this is the perfect example of the AA RPG having just really perfected what they need to do to maximize sales and get out there. You don't need to have crazy super huge graphics every time. We can have a AA market that does really good, that reminds you of the RPGs of the yesteryear. These remakes with Trails in the Sky first chapter, now second chapter, do exactly that. So what do you think about everything here that we talked about? A lot of great content. Let me know in the comment section below. All right, peeps, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.